Rise as Ms. Brookins leads us in the prayer and pledge.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today to thank you that we have the privilege in Levy County to begin our prayer and with our meeting with prayer. We also ask you to guide our thoughts, to make the best decisions for our counties and for our leaders. We ask all these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Superintendent.
At this time, Judge Smith, if you come forward, we'll have our swearing in of our new and our re-elected board members.
Then if those who are going to be sworn in will come forward, Mr. Asbell, why don't you join us and just realize that you will have to have that done by somebody else.
I've already, yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir. Yes, sir. I'll join you though, if you'll say go Gators.
Oh.
Well, I guess I'm out.
This is supposed to be a very solemn occasion.
Now, if you give some good direction, Judge, we know where to be.
Okay. It is a pleasure for me to be able to do this. It's an honor, so thank you for asking me to. And since we're in the season of Thanksgiving, let me say a few thanks. Thanks to our school board members, both those that are present and those that are coming in, and to Mr. Collard. At this time in our history, we desperately need men and women such as yourselves to lead in the educational process. I know it's not always pleasant, but we do thank you for your willingness to be a part of the solution instead of the problem. If you're willing to do things for our children that not only will benefit them now, but actually will benefit them throughout life. As all of you know, graduates of Levy County Public School Institutions, we remember our school days and what we learned there. And so it is critical today, particularly, to have people like yourselves. So thank you for willing to give up your time and your gifts in making this a better school system. And for families who are willing to allow your members of the family to give up their time. I mean, sometimes, Robbie, you may not have supper cooked right on time. I don't know. And Devin, but families give a lot. They do. They give a lot of energy to it and sacrifice. And I want you to know families, and most of you here are families in some form or another. Thank you. Thank you for your support and for your willingness to let us benefit by your children's talents. So, with that, isn't it good to be in Levy County? Yes. Isn't it good to be in Levy County? Yes. Yeah. And isn't it good to be a citizen of the United States of America? I'll tell you, we have a country where people will just do anything to get to us. And so, thanks to God that we had the privilege and His grace to be born here in America. I'm finished. I'm not running for a public office. So, if you will, raise your right hands. If you will, repeat after me and say your name. We'll start with Ms. Kamenzi and then going down that way. I,
Ashley Kamenzi.
I, Devin Whitehurst,
I, Cameron Asbell,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the government of the United States of America
the government of the United States of America
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
of
the Levy County School Board member,
as the Levy County School Board member,
of which I have been elected,
which I have been elected,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of Levy County School Board member,
And that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the Levy County School Board,
on which I am now about to enter.
which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So
So help me God.
And by the authority invested in me by the Supreme Court of the state of Florida, I declare that the three of you are now duly installed as members of the Levy County School Board. Congratulations. Don't ever.
Y'all can get pictures with your families. Families up.
I would think so. This is a special occasion.
It's a family gig. It ain't one person gig. It's a family gig.
That's for sure.
See, I get way low. Had to get by that tall drink of water. Made me look shorter and fatter. It's just jumping through some hoops.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll be all right. We're gonna be okay. Now that he doesn't sit on the bench anymore, I don't worry too much.
That's true.
Back when he was there, I wouldn't do that because
You're right.
me being me, I might have to see him.
Okay, board at this time, so if Ms. Clemency will hand over the gavel, please. We appreciate Ms. Clemency's service as chairwoman of the School Board of Levy County. So at this time, I open up nominations for chair.
I make a nomination of Mrs. Brookins.
I move nomination cease.
Okay. At this time, so we have one nomination. So all those in favor of Ms. Brookins being chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. All right. If no further, so at this point in time, so now we'll take nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Tammy Boyle.
I move nomination cease.
Okay. At this point in time, so we have a nomination for Ms. Tammy Boyle to be vice chair. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Okay. And at this time, so I'm asking for a motion for setting the days and times of the school board meeting.
I make the motion for the second Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock and the fourth Tuesday of the month at 9 a.m.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of setting the day and time of our board meetings being the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. and the fourth Tuesday at 9 a.m., please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Motion carries at this time. So if you will stand up and move to your seats, please.
Musical chairs.
I'm just gonna follow you, Miss Boyle. You're here. That's what
I feel like we should be playing some music.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm sorry you won't have my guidance.
Ms. Clemens.
Ashley, what'd you do with the chair? I know. I was thinking slowly.
Thank you very much, and it's a privilege to serve as chair for the Levy County School Board, and it's an honor that I take extremely serious. But I'd also like to take this time to thank you, Ashley, for being the chair and the excellent job that you did, and we really, really appreciate all that you've done as chair. Thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to ask for a small recess, and anyone can take some more pictures or socialize, and if you need to leave, then you're welcome to leave or you're welcome to stay. We like having everyone at our meeting, so thank you very much. So we're going to pause for a small recess, 5 minutes. I call this meeting back to order. Again, I would like to welcome everyone here, and this is the time that we have public comment. Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I messed up. At this time, we need to adopt our agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes to adopt our agenda. Now I would like to welcome and give anyone who would like to speak a time to come to our podium and anything they'd like to say.
Madam Chair and board members, just would like to be on the record. I know many of you have been contacted by several parents out of the Williston community concerned of a report. And what I want to emphatically say to you, it's a shame that public is driven by falsehoods, that there is no actual basis, and that TV 20, a news station, would run with stories without having factual information and going off hearsay from parents saying and nothing being factually that was seen. As my duties as the superintendent and your duties as board members, so I took an oath just like several of you took an oath today, and I take grave exception to being stated that we do not take the safety and well-being of our students, and that is the paramount thing. And so because that, I assure you and I assure the public that there have been steps taken to mitigate, to take the safety and well-being of all of our students at every one of our campuses, but especially just to reply to this at Williston Middle High School, that those students' safety and well-being is being cared for, and decisions have been made to protect that. So, and I just wanted that on the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Superintendent. Is there anyone else that would like to comment or come to the podium? Okay, if there's not, we'll move on our agenda item number 7. Mr. Cowart?
Yes. Madam Chair and board members, so it gives me great having the ability to recognize 2 people that have gone above and beyond, and they're being recognized, and were recognized at the gala. So the first I'd like to recognize is Miss Karen Warren. So she's a bus driver for us, and I'd love for Mr. Masters to come up, so because I think that would be appropriate, so that Mr. Masters, as her supervisor, gives this to her. So, but Miss Warren goes above and beyond, and she's served as a bus driver here in Levy County, and just extremely thankful that she's here. She was under the weather the day of the gala, so we didn't get to recognize her, so I thought it was very fitting during Thanksgiving week that she could be here, and that she's going to get to receive this ring that Jostens has donated. So, and I'd love for Mr. Masters to give this to her. So. Mr. Masters, if you have anything you want to say, so.
Ms. Warren has fit into our transportation department very well. She mentioned that she had told her husband, Richard, who's here with us, now there's one route that I'll never take. Guess which route she's on. And she's doing very well with it. Thank you for your service. It's a blessing to us and the kids.
Karen, do you want to show the board member a quick view? I don't think they've ever seen it. I don't think they ever saw the ones from last year.
You know, I hark back, and I say this many times
Oh, wow.
during transportation.
Nice.
So, being a bus driver, probably the only job that you spend 98% of the time with your back to the kids. So, and you know what a difficult job it is, and appreciate Ms. Warren. So,
I'm really honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all you do.
Board, we were also able to recognize our Teacher of the Year. So, and I think one of the great things in going through this process is that you bring people from the outside the district that come and they evaluate and they come together and make a decision. So, and one of the unique things I think, in both these cases is both these ladies, were unanimous pick. They were the top pick of each member of the committee that evaluated. So with that, I also get the pleasure of awarding this to Miss Robin Romagnola. So Miss Robin is a teacher at Bronson Elementary, has come in and has kind of worked her way up from different levels, and is always continuing to hone her craft, and she's the epitome of a professional, of somebody that goes above and beyond and finds ways to improve themselves. So with that, Miss Robin, if you'll come forward.
honored to be a teacher at Bronson Elementary and a member of Levy County. I came from Miami about almost 20 years ago, and I never thought that I would be in this spot today. I've always dreamed of being a teacher, but was unable to due to life circumstances, and God has made it possible for me to move forward in that direction, and I'm just very honored with that.
Congratulations to both. We're really honored to have them in our county and our district. Thank you very much. We'll move on to our student well-being, Mr. Gore, Ms. Lewis, and Mr. Jonathan Lewis.
Good morning. It's a shame we don't have a bigger crowd today to discuss some of the things that we're going to discuss, but we just thought we would bring some facts to us, some things that we're doing to look out for safety and the well-being of students in Levy County, and just deliver some facts for you guys. If you guys throughout this, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop us. But thank you for this time.
What you'll see on the screen here documents State Statute 1003.42, and what that is required instruction that our teachers are responsible for teaching throughout the year. In our district, we handle this, and as far as the planning of it, as required by the state, there are 3 sections of required instruction that have to have an implementation plan submitted in December. And so what we do in August, our school leaders develop a plan for the schools, and they work on submitting that by the end of August. We review that. The state expects it to be reported on the state required instruction portal. And those are the 3 areas: substance use and abuse, child trafficking prevention, which we kind of nickname that internet safety, and resilience education, which is civic and character education and life skills education. So what you'll see in the bullets below is what I just mentioned, that the schools submit their plans to us in August of each year. We review those. We upload those to the state portal in December. And then throughout the year, they have to implement those plans. In May, our principals have to sign off that they have completed, their school has completed the plan that they submitted, and that then is also uploaded to the state portal again to conclude the year. So Morgan, if you would click on the first link there, you'll see that this is our draft plan for the year. It is in draft form because it hasn't been submitted to the state yet. But I wanted you to see the format of it. The way that we set it up in our district is each of the 3 sections has a set. And for our school leaders, they work with their school teams. It has a snippet there of the section that defines that area. Each school has a line. They list which course the required instruction will take place on their campus. And they have to select a course that will touch every single student. So they can't pick something that misses kids. The 3rd column explains who will be administering the instruction. It might be the classroom teachers. It could be guidance counselor. It might even be some community members, and they have to define who that is. Jonathan will explain a little bit more about that. The 4th column shows the instructional materials that are used. And then the last column shows how the school plans to provide the instruction. So it's a little bit more of a narrative that explains to you how that's going to be implemented in their school. So once they've submitted it, we take the first semester of the school year to review these. Mr. Gore reviews a section, Dr. Hall reviews a section, and Ms. Hanlon and I, Dr. Hanlon and I, review a section. And then we upload these to the portal after being approved. So what we wanted to share is, while there have been a lot of comments about how our district prepares our students to handle certain situations, substance abuse, drug-related issues, mental health issues, we do have a plan, and our students are receiving things throughout the year, and this documents how each of our schools are handling that. You go back to the presentation, yes. So the second link, you don't have to open that. That's just the principal attestation that they will sign at the end of the year, that basically they sign off saying their school has completed the things that they submitted and that they can provide documentation if needed. And then the last link is actually a link to the state portal. So you can actually click there and you can look at any district's plan. And this actually documents beyond those 3 areas. There actually are a lot more required instruction that are expected. And if you click in the, right there, yep. And you choose the district. And here's where you can see any past year implementations that have been submitted. And you will see the 22-23 year following. They've actually extended this year's deadline to January 15th for our plans to be submitted. But once that has been done, you would see those listed here with all the details. And I will mention that all of these required instruction are beyond the standards that they have to teach. So it's added on top of all of the other things. But each of our schools, like I said, have their plan. Some of them might cover it in special area classes, so it's not always weighted on the classroom teacher. The school builds a plan that works for their campus. So, any questions on that part? And Mr. Lewis is going to come up and share another resource that our district has.
So, we wanted to just kind of update. There's a lot of community groups, Coalition, CDS, Unity Family, that do a lot of services in the county, and sometimes we forget that they're doing them when bad things happen or difficult situations come up. So in the first link there, and you have a copy of it, I've kind of listed out the programs that we do, either through directly or through our partnerships or through our community action plan. So Too Good for Drugs and Violence is taught in every elementary school except for Joyce Bullock throughout the county. At Bronson, Chiefland, and Williston, there's a full-time prevention counselor at the school all day, every day, and then we have a full-time prevention counselor that goes back and forth between Yankeetown and Cedar Key. They go through the Mendez Foundation's Too Good for Drugs and Too Good for Violence curriculum. That is an evidence-based curriculum that focuses on substance abuse prevention, education, and basic kind of mental health. So a lot of it has to do with setting goals, that type of stuff, just teaching kids at an early age to make good decisions. Project Success is at Williston Middle High School, and it's very similar to Too Good for Drugs and Too Good for Violence. It's just a little bit more geared towards the middle high age. On the second page, I've listed some of our countywide kind of universal prevention that we do. It's not necessarily targeted to any one student. It's just kind of the student body as a whole. You've probably seen or heard some of them. Friday Night Done Right, the Natural High campaign. Most recently, we took a group of kids to the Pahokee Chiefland game, and that was part of our Friday Night Done Right campaign, where we encourage kids to spend their Friday night the right way without drugs or alcohol. We took a group of Bronson kids to the Catholic school, I can't remember the name of it, but in Gainesville, and then we've supported Williston at home games this year. The Natural High campaign is very similar. It kind of goes throughout the year a little bit more, and it's basically encouraging kids to find their natural high, whether that be sports, art, music, whatever it is, just something positive other than, getting into trouble or doing drugs. Know the Law is a course that we partner with the Sheriff's Office. The school resource officers oftentimes teach it. Sometimes our staff will teach it as well. But the kids will receive a booklet. It's about a 20-page little booklet that educates them on the local, state, and federal laws that could affect them. So it talks about things such as, if you bring drugs to school, if they're just in your backpack, what happens? If you're in a car with somebody that has drugs, or you're in a car with somebody that has an illegal gun, anything like that. It just kind of goes over the basics of the law and what the potential consequences are. No One's House is a kind of social norming campaign that we've done. Over the years, you may have seen some of the Facebook videos we'll push out, but it's basically primarily targeted towards parents that no one's house is a safe place for teen drinking, and kind of highlights, for lack of a better word, the negative things that can happen when you do have kids at your house drinking. We have SWAT clubs, students working against tobacco. We're working on getting those back in all of the schools. Because of COVID and various things, it had kind of died back down, but we're at Bronson and Williston right now. And then we do occasionally give school-wide presentations. We're working on an upcoming vape presentation to each of the schools. We provide mentoring at elementary and middle high schools countywide, and then of course we have our after-school and summer programs as well that focus on academics, personal enrichment, stuff like that. And then lastly, and I'll stop for questions at the end, but I did want to highlight some recent data that came out in the last week or so that I think is important. I will try to come back or send you in the mail or something a full presentation that has all of the data points. This particular presentation only looks at lifetime use, which is basically when they ask a youth, have they ever used this drug? So you'll see with alcohol, we're at a 10-year low, which is very good. For the first time since I've been in this job, so 13, 14 years now, we have never been below the state average, to my knowledge. So I think that's a testament to our partnership with the school district over the years, adding grants, and the reaffirmed and kind of robust partnership we have with the school district. Just being able to get into the classrooms, having space, and having the support of administration makes such a huge difference. Page 2 is lifetime use of marijuana. As you'll see, we're at the lowest level in the past 10 years as well, at 11.9%. As a side note, alcohol was 25.6. That seems like a high number, but it's really astonishingly low compared to previous years. Cigarettes, we're at 8.2%. We're a little bit above the state average there, but as you can see, 2012 we were at 30%. Methamphetamine, we've always hovered between 1 and 2%. Right now we're at 0.6%. That basically probably equates to maybe 1 or 2 students countywide saying that they had used methamphetamine at some point in their lifetime. Cocaine, we're at 1.1%, which is down from 2.4% 10 years ago, or 4% in 2018. And heroin, we're at 0%, down from 1.1, 1.3 over the years. And then lastly, and I'll come back to you with all of the drug categories at a later date, but I didn't want to take too much time. But prescription pain relievers, which were an issue for quite some time, have dropped from 5.9% down to 1.1. That can be a little misleading question, as some of these kids may have taken you know, for a wisdom tooth extraction or something, and they may not be fully thinking about that, but that's where we're at there. So across the board, lifetime use, it's very low, and probably the lowest in the past 10 years in many areas. So are there any questions for me about any of the programs or data?
You said Joyce Bullock does not have it?
So the primary reason there is the Too Good for Drugs, Too Good for Violence has a pre-test and post-test, and there is no real pre-test or post-test for the kindergarten and first grade. At the other schools, we kind of are able to do it school-wide because they're a combined school, whereas there's just not the funding to have a completely separate person over at Joyce Bullock. And schedule-wise, it's difficult, but Joyce Bullock does do some things on their own.
So on the required instruction side of it, you can see Joyce Bullock's plan. They cover substance use and abuse in their health special area rotation using the MONI for curriculum. So while they don't have that level of support, they do have a curriculum that they use for the same topic.
Right, and I think it's really encouraging to know for this board that this is taught in our schools. It is gone over and over and over. So all students, you know, when they come to us for the expulsion and they don't have any knowledge of anything that we are doing it. We are certainly educating them in our schools. So I do appreciate that. That's great. Thank you very much.
And at the elementary levels, it's on the special area rotation, so they typically receive it, you know, once a week for their entire, you know, if it's a kid that started in kindergarten, once a week, all school year long, all the way through 5th grade. So,
thank you.
Is there a link online for parents to be able to access this information?
we can
All
get
this
that.
stuff, various things. I think that would be cool to have. It would be really cool, like Mr. Gore said,
Yeah.
if the folks that said they were coming today had come today. And I hope they're listening, because I'm calling them out. I had 10 tell me they were coming. And I said, good, because we are doing things and they need to see this. So,
Absolutely.
again, we can do things during the school day. And like I said last meeting, education is like a tape. It takes 3 legs: the kid, the school, the parent. A lot of empty on that one leg. Okay, and we had a couple of expulsion hearings today that same situation. So, I appreciate what y'all brought forward.
Certainly do.
Mr. Lewis, parents can't opt out of this, can they?
I mean, I guess they could if they wanted to, but I don't know that it's ever happened.
Good, okay, that's good. And the graph, all the ages that we see here on the prevention programming and services sheet, the graph here, is that all the ages, or is this a different age group?
The lifetime use is sixth grade through 12th grade.
6 through 12. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Lewis, on your assembly that's coming up, school-wide assembly, I know this is a basic question, but I remember school assemblies that we had for sex education or drugs, and they would just show pictures, and it's like, oop, not doing that, not touching that. And sometimes, you know, are we going to use visuals?
To be honest with you, all I know is our tobacco staff are working on a vaping presentation. I assume that they will use visuals and
Just thinking popcorn lung, things that these kids, because it's our expulsion hearings. I don't know if I don't know the last time we've had expulsion hearings that don't have a kid involving vape. And it just baffles me that these kids don't see the consequences because it's so mainstream. When we were in school, it really wasn't cool to do drugs. And now you just see so many mainstream kids vaping, and whether they don't realize there's going to be a consequence here, or it's just unbelievable to me. So kudos to you guys, because it's above and beyond, in my opinion, what, like you said, it's not even a standard. We're going above and beyond, and so much of this comes from home. So I'm all for posting this on social media just to show that what Levy County is doing to try to get ahead of it. I wish we could work with the Levy County or the law enforcement, because it's crazy to me that these kids can walk into a Jiffy store, 7-Eleven, and they're underage buying these vapes all the time. I mean, I would like to partner with them on that too, because
we
it's
do.
a problem.
last year, and then I know it's coming up, our staff goes out and visits every convenience store and provides information to the state as to if that store is selling vapes or the stuff you put in vapes,
Yeah.
not module, but I can't think of what it's called, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, the filler or whatever.
Thing, cartridge.
Yeah.
That data is provided to the state. I know we haven't done them in a while, but we used to do compliance checks, and we would send people in to with ABT to see if they would sell to an underage student or not check IDs. So if that's known, if you know of a store, let us know. We can talk with ABT.
That's good to know.
And they can,
you guys did that. That's
they
great.
can do a compliance check.
I'm glad to see it on the elementary level, because it's certain the foundations are made of these kids when they're young. Once you get to middle school, they've already got so many impressions of, what's right or wrong then. If we can sit in there, hammer it home on these younger ages, where they can, bring it home, and hopefully their oldest sibling can help mentor their younger children, especially if there's some bad situations at the house, they can say there's a different way. Definitely. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Jonathan, you used to do some training, I remember in the past, we hosted one that you did the training for, convenience stores and people too. Do you still do that as well?
We do that. We haven't done it as much since COVID, but we do responsible vendor training where we invite stores that sell alcohol or tobacco, restaurant owners, bars, and we actually train their staff on how to properly check an ID, how to cut somebody off if it's an adult and they've had too much without losing them as a customer, and kind of how to basically control the over serving and serving of youth in a restaurant. It focuses on the betterment of the business, so we'll give them a certificate, and some of the Cedar Key restaurants were actually successful in getting a discount on their liability insurance from attending it. So we still do that, and maybe not quite as much, but I know we have some planned later this year, at least one.
Well, that's great. You are going above and beyond. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Yes. Thank you, and thank you for the nice presentation.
I think we should reiterate, this is required instruction. Every child going through our school system gets this instruction.
That's correct. And I will clarify, you asked about opting out. They may want to opt, if they chose to opt out of that, the Too Good for Drugs program, they probably could, but they can't opt out of our instruction that we're giving no matter what. So there's no opt out.
All right,
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm just going to cover on a couple other things that we do through drugs and safety and security in the school. A couple of special notes here. Department of Juvenile Justice at Bronson Middle High and Chiefland Middle High, there'll be we're working with obviously DJJ and the Levy County Sheriff, and there'll be someone there to provide a testimony about drug use and substance abuse at assemblies later. This is new. We don't normally do this every year. It has been in the works, but it's something we don't do annually. The rest of the bullets are something we do every year, or it's extra law enforcement, increased drug dog presence. We have had, and you may have heard about it. We've stepped up some drug dog presence, doing some things that we don't normally do. We normally bring them in. We bring them in per semester. Some of you know that from being here. But we have had, work. We don't want to get stale with that. We want to work different angles. So we are doing it, and we're thankful for Mr. Bobby McCallum and him working with us and providing some extra things and doing things a little different with those drug dogs and that kind of thing. So we're thankful for that. CSTAG, that is actually threat assessment. I believe some of that was spoke about too. And to talk about what threat assessment is, it's a prevention tool that came out in 2019 for any kind of harm towards somebody. It's not a discipline measure at all. It's a team made up of the guidance counselor at the school, administrator at the school, the SRO at the school, along with a teacher. Those are 4 team members that are required to be trained in the threat assessment process. And could more people be a part of that team at each school? Yes. They are reviewed monthly. Okay, any student that maybe has had a threat assessment in the past or maybe is on the radar, it's discussed monthly with that threat assessment team at the school. We are 100% trained in our district. There is a guidance counselor, administrator, and all SROs have been through the training, and a teacher at every campus. So we're 100% trained. Excuse me, there is a review process for that, which it generally comes to the district office at some point. And there's different levels of threat. So we could talk about this particular subject for an hour if we wanted to, and just to kind of understand and explain the ins and outs of kind of how it works. But again, I want to say it's a preventative tool. It's something that helps prevent violence in school. Is it 100% correct all the time? Absolutely not. It's not going to prevent anything. It puts people on, as far as, you know, if things happen, they happen. But it does bring people on the radar, and it gives us safety measures to use inside our schools through this process. We did update Remind contacts. That was another thing that was mentioned. Remind has been with us for a while now, and we did share that across our Facebook page of how you can, and we even figured out that you can manually enter some people. That's a hard process, but we encourage parents to reach out and to join that Remind where they have students at their school, and that process is the directions how to do that is on our Facebook page. The next bullet there, halos. What is that? Ashley, I heard you mention vapes. This is actually something that me and Mr. Lott have been working on since last summer. Then halos is a vape detection sensor that we've currently got several on order, and you can strategically place them in school. And basically what they do is they sense vapes, whether it's the juice or THC or whatever it may be. They're really detailed as far as you can even the amount of noise if they're placed in an area and say there's a physical altercation breaks out, the noise raises, it can detect that as well. So it's really neat. We're excited when they come in and see where we're at and see how useful they are. We think they're going to help us a lot. So increased camera locations. We're currently working right now to one of our secondary schools to completely upgrade and add to the camera process through the Hardening Grant. You guys hear me annually, Mr. Weber when he was here discussing the Hardening Grant. Not only do we use those funds, but we go above that strategically when funds are available. Obviously, we go for signage for different camera locations past that Hardening Grant to make things work. I want to say this before I stop talking, or if you have any questions. I had the opportunity throughout my career to work inside of a prison. Our schools will never look like a prison, okay? Florida Department of Education doesn't want our schools to look like a prison, okay? But with all that said, with everything that the safety measures that prisons have, incidents like we've had in the past happen in prisons, okay? It is not the norm here. I feel comfortable with our staff. I feel comfortable with our administration. I feel, collaboration with our sheriff's department that we're doing what we can do to keep drugs out of our schools, okay, to keep kids safe. We'll continue. We evaluate every year on what we need to improve on and what we need to do better. And but I just want to say that I do have confidence in what we're doing, the way we're going, and we'll continue to put, you know, kid safety and staff safety first in our education system.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would add to that, as a parent of a child, not a school board member, but as a parent of a child in the Levy County school system, I have the utmost confidence to send my child to the school he goes to and know he's safe. I turn my most cherished thing over to this school system every day, knowing I'm going to see him again at 3 o'clock, and it's going to be all right. And I think y'all are doing a fine job. And nothing is perfect, and you're fighting an uphill battle, and you're doing a great job at it, I think.
Thank you. And to add to that, we put our kids in that same schools.
That's right.
So we have that much confidence in it. So.
That's right. If I didn't believe in it, my kid wouldn't be there.
That's right.
That's right.
And,
thank you.
Is it possible, I know we're having these assemblies, is it possible to make an assembly available to parents to come?
Yeah.
Would that be possible?
Let me reach out and see. So,
Because I don't know.
as Mr. Gore said, you know, I think there's, you heard lots of suggestions about mamas sitting in bathrooms and whatnot. So, and I think when we start getting to that point, so we can look at that and see, but I know this conversation with DJJ started way back about the middle of September, about them wanting to come. So, and they actually had picked a school, and I'm reaching out to them. So I've got them to bump that school to make Bronson a priority for them to go into Bronson first, and then Chiefland will be second. So but that was out of their request. So with that, but I know we do have some options, as you've heard with that. But I will check into that and see, and if nothing else, we can at least maybe video it or something there. That way it can then be posted.
There you go. That way it makes it available. I think,
Right.
well, recently we had the dogs at Bronson High School. We had it hit on a couple bags. And this is not meant to be insulting, but it's the truth. Parents, guardians, brothers and sisters, whoever needs to understand, you smoke a joint around your little brother's backpack, it's going to be on that backpack. That dog's going to hit on it. People need to be aware of that. I think people are missing it. It has gotten to be so commonplace. It hasn't been that long ago I was at Disney World, and the lady was standing right outside Disney World, tearing one up right there. It's so commonplace, I think people are forgetting.
Yes.
It's not allowed. And then we get to where we are at. And I think the more we can make people aware, and then we've talked about this, if it's a norm in a child's house, for dad in the afternoon to finish the day, hitting the vape with the marijuana or something more, that's what they see as normal. It may not be normal in your house, but in that house it's normal. We somehow got to get people to understand that's not normal. Not saying there's something wrong with you having a prescription, not knocking that. If you have that, you educate that person that this is why we do this. But got this bag of weed, I'm gonna roll one out here just because I want one. Some people see that as normal. Some people see use of crack, use of meth, whatever as normal. We've got to get, we understand that's not normal. But a child that sees that every day, and this is just part of my life, you know, they need to understand, and the parents need to understand, this is not regular. This is not the way the world works. I don't know how to get our education out past our walls.
Right.
But somehow we got to do that. And I think being able to just watch the video of the thing, make things available. You're only going to engage the parents that want to be engaged.
Right.
So they need to be able to access it.
Correct.
Along that lines, I'll just say this. We all witnessed the crowd of people that were here. I publicly offered any person to come, set an appointment. To this day, so not a single appointment has been made to come talk to me about any issue. We've had some people that have gone to certain board members. I've reached out to them, and I've talked to 2 of the 3 of them that have and tried to work through, you know. But it comes back to the first thing that said, well, no, I never said anything to the teacher. We have to understand that, and we all go through this. When people come here, coming to the podium is not the first place. The chain of command should be, is there an issue in the classroom? Go talk to the teacher. If there's not resolution then go talk to school admin. If there's not resolution then it's the opportunity to come here and talk to myself, or Mr. Lott. And then we will get involved. But that's the process. And I think a lot of times, unfortunately, we have people all around us that are comfortable with us, and they may come and they see us in the grocery store and they start, and we're the first people that they see and they talk to, and we've got to make sure that we redirect them to go through that process to give the teacher. They may not know that there's an issue. They need the first opportunity to have that connection with the parent. So, and I think that's one of the things that we're seeing here, that it was just easier to come here and make a complaint and not be a part of the solution. So, and we take these things extremely serious. That's Mr. Gore's role here. So it is adamantly, the first priority is safety. So.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Gore. That was a very good presentation. I do appreciate
Very
that.
good. What do the halos do? When do they sound like a regular fire alarm?
No, they
set
actually,
off?
it's a silent alert. Okay, so the appropriate people that are programmed into that alert, your deans, administration, maybe even the SROs, it's a silent alert to them. They can then review, if they're not able, they can review camera footage and to be able to identify who was in that area. And move forward with there. They call them halo because when the power goes out, they light up like a halo. So that's why they call them halos. So, anyways.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Can I ask a
Yes,
question?
certainly.
Are there imposed consequences on a child who does come to school, having been around a parent that smokes, gets high?
So is there consequences?
Yeah.
Unless that student is impaired or has some kind of factual evidence on them, then no ma'am. There isn't at this time.
On that, speaking to that incident where we had a couple backpacks that the dog hit on, they were searched and nothing was found.
Yeah.
So there.
That happens more than.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, we're aware. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you ask every admin, so when they come through car pickup line, so that it comes rolling out, so in the mornings
Yes.
or afternoon,
Speaking
so,
with the smell.
yes. So,
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to our item number 9, our Family Unity Community Center.
Dr.
Hanlon. We've got to put that on there, Angela, so we make sure we read it correctly.
Well, thank you. We're bringing to you, thank you and good morning. We're bringing to you this morning, House Bill 7 had some revisions in the health education in regarding to what we so fondly used to call sex ed when we were growing up. So there were some revisions in the last legislative session where before we used to choose the curriculum and we would present to the board for approval. And this year, the state has pretty much changed the abstinence focus and wants to use a standard curriculum within the state. So these ladies in our health department have undergone some training from the state in relations to the curriculum that we are presenting to you called Real Essentials. And this is adopted by the state. Everybody's been trained, but it still is in statute to bring it to the board for approval. So you were provided the scope and sequence of the program. I know that Mrs. Boyle and I went through the content of the curriculum with Unity to discuss what was covered and at what age group. Primarily in the past we've only started with 5th grade, called it the boy-girl talk, but we are pushing, this curriculum starts with 4th grade. I also want to back up and say that Unity came and met with us, Mr. Coward and I, prior to their training, and I think it was before the training, or unless it was after, and we talked about the climate of our communities and things that we wanted to focus on and things that we wanted to avoid. So with that, they narrowed down the lessons that were presented to you in the scope and sequence. However, in order for us to post the actual lessons so that parents can access the lessons and that you would be able to access the lessons, we literally have to purchase it in order to, and it's a pretty hefty expense. So we, if you approve this, what we're going to do is post the scope and sequence of them, and then and just let parents know if they have any questions to contact the district office or Unity. And what we're going to do is we'll have a set of the curriculum on our campus here. I talked to Ms. Ford about purchasing that. And so we're going to have a set here. So if there's any questions that arise or anybody wants to look at it any further. So do you have any questions? I am thankful for these ladies who are helping us get this rolling and into our schools for our students. They are here to answer any questions that you may have. And I can answer any questions that I may.
What is the cost?
$900. Each one, correct? So the 4th and 5th grade curriculum is $900, and then the 6 through 12 is $900.
Is there anything y'all would like to say or mention about the program or tell us any information?
I'm excited because this particular curriculum really focuses on building healthy relationships. It's not the curriculum that just focuses on sex. It's about healthy relationships, child-parent relationship, peer-to-peer relationships, and even as they get older and parents think they're of age to date, relationships with a dating companion. And I love the fact that it's teaching them how to get to know themselves, understand who I am, understand that I am enough. You know, it teaches them the value of themselves, and I love that.
Good, thank you.
And I think in light of some of our instances that have happened in our community, one of the things that we noted is that it talks a lot about what to do in relationships when you're in a high school relationship and you break up, and what that might look like and how that might affect you, the difference between love and infatuation, things like that. So I think it builds a lot of understanding, boundary setting, a lot of important concepts to kids beyond just the active intercourse. Do you have anything?
In addition, we would love to be able to do a parent session and welcome that. So at any time that you feel that parents are interested in doing that, we would love to host a parent session.
The curriculum is still an opt-out, so we will have a letter. We have redone the letter for the parents this year, seeing what the curriculum is. We'll have an opt-out letter in English and Spanish that will be, you know, when you send it home, it doesn't get home. So it'll be probably sent out and remind and be able to, for parents to access it and send in their request to opt out if they don't want their child participating.
And one of the things that struck me when we all were talking is how the trainers can get the students to talk, maybe even when they're not realizing the information they're putting out, and it has come to the surface of some things that were not good in their home life, and they didn't know that that wasn't the norm.
Absolutely.
And so in these sessions with the kids, they were able to find out about it and take care of it, which if they never talked about it, I can't imagine how much worse it would have been. So I thought that was a positive. I mean, it's deep stuff, and it's when you think about a 4th grader hearing some certain, and that's how young they are talking about it, and they would never have known.
They're developing a little bit quicker than they have in the past.
That's how young they are with the TikTok accounts.
Yeah,
I heard it
exactly
on the radio this morning, the amount of children 12 and under that are on. So it's going to be interesting to see the parents that, oh no, I don't want this to my kid. Meanwhile, they have a phone in their hand with the TikTok account.
Exactly.
Yeah, so anything we can do to counteract, just anything helps.
So what do you need from us, right?
This is an action
Yes,
item. We
sorry.
need a motion.
I move
Except
for
the curriculum uses.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Okay. Are there any changes in our minutes?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our minutes. Thank you very much. Now we'll move to item 11, our consent agenda. And I know you've all got a chance to talk to Mr. Cowart, but I'm going to start on this end, Mr. Whitehurst, a chance to just think about his. Ms. Boyle?
I'll be quick. Excuse me. I talked to Mr. Cowart yesterday. All my questions were answered on everything.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to our meeting today. Okay. Mr. Aswell?
All my questions have been answered.
All right. Thank you very much. And I really appreciate Mr. Cowart always calling and checking and making sure we have gone over. And if there are any questions, and he always clears things up. So do I hear a motion to approve our consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes for the consent agenda. Thank you very much. Now we'll move to our finance items. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
I make a motion to approve finance.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to Mr. Cowart.
Yes, Madam Chair. So just a couple things. So we've kind of alluded to it. So, but kudos. So Dr. Hanlon successfully submitted her dissertation, and she gets the opportunity to walk across the stage and at graduation and next month. So just appreciate all the efforts that you see going on from her. So, and second, would love to just point out, so he's here today. So Mr. Joe Wayne, appreciate him, kudos. So had a nice letter from Gilchrist County for Mr. Joe Wayne helping test their potential CDL drivers for bus drivers over. So it's just continues to show how Levy County reaches out to help those neighboring counties around them, and just appreciate people that go above and beyond their job. So, and the last thing is, in the season of gratitude and Thanksgiving, so I wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and enjoy and have some time to decompress. So, and I wish that for all of our employees, because I know it's a time. There's a lot of things to be thankful for, and a lot of things that are really positive things that are going on in Levy County and in each and every one of our communities, and just truly happy to be serving with you all and happy to be a part of the team. So, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cowart. Comments? We'll start on this end again. Ms. Boyle.
In lieu of the last meeting, there was so much going on. I did want to mention now that prayers and thoughts are going out to the family of Williston that lost their child. So I just wanted to say that. I hope that they just have grace with them, and I hope that they're finding peace every day. Second thing, Thanksgiving. Tonight, actually. Wow, I'm losing my days. Tonight is the pie auction in Cedar Key, so if anybody is headed that way at the school, the junior class pie auction is this evening. Looking forward to that. You can get lots of desserts for your Thanksgiving meal. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope it's a blessed filled day. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Aswell?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I must apologize first to my friend Julie Oberst. Every year I always try and make it to the Thanksgiving luncheon, one of the Thanksgiving lunches at the school. And business called me away, so I didn't get to make it, and I was very disappointed in myself. And I'd like to give her a hard time about always having that, and they do a great job with that thing, but I didn't make it this year. But it was able to attend the Bronson FFA Thanksgiving celebration that night. And I want to say I'm really impressed with Mr. Barber and his efforts there. He made it a fun time for everybody. We had a great turnout, had a great assortment of food, and he's working really hard to get out a message that, kind of like what we said earlier, takes parents, takes kids, takes school, and I really appreciate that. And he wanted me to say thank you to Miss Lake for her super support on the cake auction. And that was wonderful. I also would like to take this time to thank Mr. Coward. I am one of the school board members that was contacted by several people. And like I always do, I will take it to the superintendent regardless of who it is. I took the issues that I had been brought to me to Mr. Coward. And this is what I like about Mr. Coward. This isn't talking about any of the other guys. I like the other guys and they would kind of do the same thing. But I know several school board people in different counties, when they take an issue to their superintendent, they get the all, Nothing happens. Mr. Coward contacted those folks, did all he could do, got right on top of it, and I appreciate that, Mr. Coward. And I thank you, and I think you're doing very good by doing such as that. I appreciate you. That's all I have, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope y'all all have a safe and joyous Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Ms. Clancy?
I too want to thank Mr. Cowart for making a statement earlier. I hope somebody watches, records, and sends this to TV 20, because their negligence and their reporting is just unfathomable to me, and it just creates a firestorm. So thank you, Mr. Cowart, for your statement to clear the air. I also want to thank Mr. Gore and Ms. Lewis and Mr. Lewis for their presentation, because last meeting was a doozy. So for us to be able to show the parents what we're doing and that we're proactive, and I think one lady at the end of the meeting said, do we have any answers? And not really realizing how a board meeting works and that there's protocol, and we come up with solutions after the meeting's concluded. So for us to have this and maybe post it just to show what we're doing in Levy County, I think it was a great presentation, so thank you guys. And I want to finally say thank you to the voters of Levy County. Even though I ran unopposed, either somebody was scared to do the job and didn't want to run against me, or they know what the job entails. And I just really appreciate it. It's been the honor of a lifetime to serve in this county. I'm so proud to be born and raised and from this county, and look forward to the next term. I was thinking last night, the things that we have gone through in the past 4 years with COVID and masks and blended learning and losing dear members of the district. It's been a wild ride, but I really look forward to the next 4 years. I think it's going to look very different. I hope 4 years from now we can sit here and our kids will all have devices and we'll have wonderful internet for Levy County, and I hope those that are in a more powerful position than we are put education at the top of their agenda, because we need funding in Levy County. We need funding to be able to combat the mental health issues that we're dealing with, teacher salaries, everything. So I sure hope 4 years from now we've made great gains in those areas. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I'm going to get a pie when I go to CRT. Probably a rabbit too, but thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Whiterath.
Well, I'm honored to be up here. I said, I know I got big shoes to fill. I certainly have had family members and mentors that sat in the seat before me, and I know I have a lot to learn. Certainly I look forward to serving with the other board members up here and doing the best for Levy County, and specifically the Wilson district. And I know we got a lot of challenges in front of us, but I know as a board and as administrators and teachers and parents, we can continue to strive and bring the Levy forward. So I appreciate that, and I just ask for patience for everybody here as I learn. And I'm not going to, obviously nobody knows what they're doing until they step in those shoes. So I appreciate y'all's patience today and as we go forward. And I did have a little bragging post. Me and Miss Tammy Bull was there. They had a 4-H speech contest in Bronson last Thursday, and the elementary contest, Catalia LeBlanc won first from Williston, and my daughter Mabry Whitehurst won second in the elementary, and then Reed Grant got third, and then Deja Miranda was the winner for the middle school, and she was from Cedar Key. So certainly it was nice to see these young children get up there in front of an audience and speak. I know they say public speaking is like the #1 worst fear, and that's just seeing these kids excel continue to, be able to, step out of their boundaries and their comfort zones and, do stuff that, hopefully be future leaders in this county and state and who knows, in this nation. So, I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving, and thank y'all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I think this was one of our best meetings, and it was great, and just positive things that happened and the things that we're learning that are going on in our schools, and the great things that everyone is doing, and we really truly appreciate everything. So I'm going to end it with a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you all enjoy your holidays with your family and eat lots of great food. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned. Let's see. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Anna Valdina. I'm a retired teacher, and I'm here representing my community and Hispanic community. And my grandkids. We have an incident last week on the middle school, Williston Middle School. My grandson was attacked badly, and we spoke with everybody at school, and I feel like they took this very lightly. This is why I'm here, because I don't want this to happen to anybody. And I understand we are a teamwork. This is a teamwork. And I just want to know what's the next step.
I'll be happy to speak with you after the meeting. So, yes, ma'am.
I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you for coming and addressing our board, and Mr. Cowart will speak to you. Thank you very much.
So, call for nominations for President of the Levy County Finance Authority for the 22-23 school year.
I nominate Paige Brookins to be president.
There's no further nominations, so nominations will cease. So all those in favor of Ms. Brookins, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, say nay. All right, I'll pass the gavel. So, and now at this time,
I would like to ask for nominations for Secretary of the Levy Finance Authority.
I nominate Superintendent Chris Cowart.
There are no other nominations, and nominations will cease. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Meeting adjourned.